Yes, prediction. Pain.
Are you ready? I was born ready.
Obviously, you're a little, aggravated by the line of questioning regarding Canelo.
I don't want to touch this, dirty, so bad. I don't want to touch his name.
I'm working on being the art of humbleness. Hey, you beating me, that's the reason why I'm crying, because I'm not that person no more. And I miss him. But sometimes I feel like a bitch. I don't want that person to come out, because when he comes out, hell is coming with him. And it's not funny at all. It must sound cool, like I'm a tough guy. It's just, I hate that I'm scared.
It would be awesome to, being a great warrior, maybe with a Mexican. I have to put the joke.
No, hey.
Thank you.
Perfect for playing, man. I appreciate
Good
you.
timing, man.
Can't put predictions, man, but I definitely don't want to leave it to the judges.
All right, here we go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're tuning in live, we appreciate you. If you're tuning in later, we appreciate you. We appreciate you all the way around, whether it's on YouTube or podcast audio format. We have the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Reshard Too Quick Hicks in the house. Shout out to you, brother. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate you. So this brother's doing big things, and we're really excited to talk about that. Get a little bit of familiarity to those that aren't familiar, but you should be. If you don't know, now you know. So current record is 12-1-1, right? 6 knockouts, right? Brutal knockouts. So you fought mainly for your record 147, but for this next fight, you're going to be fighting at 154. Right. You haven't been in the ring since 2019. But you're really excited, and talk a little bit as far as like the decision as far as going up in weight, and how do you feel about that?
Yeah, so growing up in weight, I feel as if it's more comfortable for me. It's not that I cannot make the 147. It's just, I'm not a young crow in the game anymore. I'm 37 years old, and I feel stronger at 154 than I do at 147. So we're gonna try to see how it looks. And depending on how smooth the weight comes off, I might be back at 147, just depending.
No, hey, man, I appreciate that honest answer. And I know a lot of people can relate. And that's good to kind of talk about as far as those decisions that are made. Because, us fanboys, when we hear about a fight, we're like, oh, they should just move up. Or, why can't they just cut the weight and fight this fighter? It's not that easy. There's a lot of things that go into it and that you have to factor in. I like the fact that you said you feel stronger. So you do feel stronger that you'd be at the higher weight, the 154, as far as your power?
Right. Power, speed, I think is a lot stronger and a lot faster at that weight class.
Okay. Well, hey, sign me up for that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and dare to describe your style. And, by doing it virtually, I feel a lot safer. But I would describe your style from watching highlights in some of your fights as being a boxer puncher with quick hands and speed that likes to use your jab and your reach of your 72-inch reach. But you don't describe yourself as that way because you feel that's kind of too confining. You have a more versatile style. How would you describe yourself, sir?
I say I'm a adaptive fighter. I think that's the best way I can explain it. And what I mean by adaptive fighter is because I can pretty much put any style depending on who I'm going up against. There's not one set style that I do. There's not one set movement that I do. Again, I can go left-handed, I can go right-handed. So I'm a versatile fighter to where I can switch stances and I can go forward. I can fight in the pocket. I can move around. I can do whatever I need to do to win the fight.
All right. For those that are listening, then he's a problem. That's what he's trying to tell you guys. He's definitely a problem. So I know fighters, that when they switch up, they feel more comfortable one stance to the other. Do you feel like you have power on both sides? And as far as the orthodox or a southpaw, you feel just as good on either? Do you do it like the entire fight or mid-fight? Kind of depends on the situation.
It's I trust my coach. My coach, Jess Ravallo, I trust him very much. He sees things that I don't see from the outside. So if he says, hey, turn southpaw this round, I go southpaw. If he says stay orthodox this round, I go orthodox. My primary fight position is southpaw, but due to a couple of the surgeries that I've had to switch that style up just a bit. So again, I adapt to when I need to be adapted to.
All right, man. Like a chameleon. I love it. Okay. That's great. So, Champ, now we've already kind of touched on it. So you are a more seasoned veteran fighter and you're looking to get opportunities there. You already got this fight coming up. We're looking forward to that. You're gonna be fighting in Austin on February 12th, and we'll talk more about that in a bit. But what I wanted to know is, in this time, a lot of people not just coming off a disappointment of a loss, which I thought that was a premature stoppage, by the way. But what kind of goes into the mindset for you to keep going? And again, I'm not a fighter, right? I'm a lover. So I need to know as far as like what kept you going, because it's easier said than done. Like, but after a while, was it harder? Was it ever any doubt in your mind? I really like for the listeners to know as far as like what kept you motivated to move forward and to know that to get you to this point where you're ready to rock and roll in a few weeks.
Well, let me say this. Any fighter that tells you that they never have any doubt in their mind is lying. Because that's a trick that the mind plays with you. The mind will always tell you certain things, but that fear of taking an L is what keep me pushing. So I don't run away from it. I actually run to it. You know what I mean? But as you said, when you take an L, you take your loss, there are certain things that play in your mind that you have to get over first. It's a mental game, first and foremost. Your mental ain't there no matter what kind of shape you're in physically. There's no need to get back in there. So mentally, I got myself prepared, and I keep telling myself, I'm a combat veteran. I done been through worse fights than the one I've taken inside the ring. So It's nothing to me. It's just getting back up and doing it again. So.
Well, absolutely, man. That's awesome. And yeah, salute to you for being, for your service and being a combat veteran. So, we're hearing a lot lately, I put it out there, Crawford is suing his former promoter, right? And a lot of fighters, as far as like, do I feel supported? I don't feel supported. How huge was your team on supporting you through this? Because there's a lot of trials and tribulations. Like I said, a lot of the fight game, from what I hear from fighters like yourself, it's so mental. It's a lonely sport, but you do have a team. So can you kind of talk about your support system and how they helped you overcome and get to the point where you're looking to rock and roll and really kind of reestablish yourself?
Yeah. So, well, a lot of people don't know that in between the time where I wasn't fighting 2019 until now, there was a lot of fight offers that I had that I accepted, but things don't normally plan out the way you want them to. For example, I had a contract signed, ready to go to fight Austin Trout. Had it ready to go.
I saw the post on social media. So
right.
yeah, definitely.
And some shady stuff happened behind closed doors, into where I'm training for a fight, wasn't hearing any information about it. Next thing you know, I'm seeing Austin Trout's fighting somebody else, and I'm like, I just signed this contract to fight him. And you got things like that just happen. So I mean, we've been training to get for a fight, and it was just something to where I was like, you know what, I just need to take a step back because my health wasn't the best. Went through a couple of different surgeries and had to get myself back right physically. And then my team was like, hey man, you ready to go? My coach is probably instrumental to it, because when I go in the gym and do the mitt work with them like that, he'll tell me, man, you're still strong, you're still fast, you still got this. So he was very instrumental into me saying, you know what, it's time to go.
No, definitely. And shout out to him, talking about Coach Ravallo in Killeen, Texas, doing his thing. So he was the Olympic coach, U.S. boxing coach in 1996, correct? Right. So he's got the obviously the Olympic style, the amateur style. So transition to the pro style, and also very familiar with as far as like the Cuban style, as far as the slick in and out boxing. So you have a great coach and mentor to help develop you. Kind of talk about as far as like going into this, and when you decided, like at what point, during your process of overcoming your injuries and surgeries, did you say like, I'm definitely coming back? So was it right away? How soon did that take place? Because that had to be obviously a big moment in a paradigm shift in your thinking too, to go from like you said, all fighters have doubt, and sometimes your body tells you, hey man, it's not what you want to do, it's what you can do.
Right. So I do work inside of a boxing gym. I do train athletes, I do train other fighters in this. I think where it got to the point to where I was training a couple guys, and it was asking for some sparring, and I got phone calls about doing some sparring, and I went to the gym and sparred some of the younger kids and the younger guys, and and they said, I still got I'm in there and I'm competing still, and I'm realizing these kids can't touch me, these kids can't outspeed me, they can't hurt me, and I'm like, man, it's time to get back in the ring. You still got it, bro. And it's just telling myself, like, you still do this. This
Right.
you still, it's still in you. And then when I'm telling people and I'm going and doing all this sparring, and they ask me, how old are you? And I tell my order, and they're like, well, damn, and that lets me know that I belong here. I'm still here.
Yeah. Nothing like the damn to make you think, okay, that's a validation right there.
Right.
We've all been there before, and yeah, you do. You look a lot younger, and also in the ring, because I saw some recent sparring footage that you did. Not too much, they didn't want to give it all away, but the little bit I saw is, man, you definitely got one thing. You fight very well off that jab. I know one of the fighters that you admire as far as Winky Wright. How important is that as far as establishing? I know you have the physical advantage being 5'9", and using that 72-inch reach, but is that a big part of your arsenal? I know you say you're versatile, but that's a big part of your game.
It's huge because everything is set up off the jab. There's multiple ways to throw the jab, so it's huge just to use the jab and know what you can turn it into. And my coaches say, hey, you can win a whole round off of a jab. So I use that to determine what I'm going to do next. Right. I use the jab to say, hey, if he's going to keep parrying my jab, well, I'm going to come over the top, or I'm going to feint the jab, or I'm going to always do something to make you think about something different.
All right, keep them on their toes.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I love that. And being at 154, being in that division, eventually, how many fights after the fights you have in Austin on February 12th, before you get your name back into a limelight, another bigger fight, another fight? No disrespect to the fighters you're fighting, but to get onto a card on television, or
right.
A card like that. What's your game plan on that you've laid out with your team?
Well, my game plan, we talked to Derek and Manny, and we say, man, as soon as we get done with this fight, we want to hop right back in the ring. We want to hop right back in. We want to take maybe a month off and find something ASAP. I don't want to take a break. I want to stay active. Just, wow. I want to be in as much as I possibly can be.
Oh man, I love to hear that because I'm a fight freak. So another thing that that you said that stood out in one of your previous interviews that I thought was really, I appreciate the honesty, is you're like, look, legacy is one thing, but I also don't want to be cheated by, and I've been, being a business owner myself, I've jumped on things like, man, this would be a great opportunity. But then I look back and I'm doing all this work, and what did I get paid? Right.
Right.
Talk about that as far as the business side, as far as like what you've learned, being a bit, being yourself a entrepreneur, businessman. How hard is that balance? And do you rely completely on your business team? Do you also, is there, a lot of communication you have with them? Like, hold up, man, I don't know about that. Or they know you well enough and you trust them. How does that?
Oh, they know me well enough and they trust me. They know that, again, like you said, legacy is something. I started this game late. I don't have enough fights. I'm 37 years old. Right. I can't talk about legacy right now. It's for me to talk about financial stability, setting my people up for success. I mean, when I say my people, I mean my kids, my family, setting them up for success for when I'm done. Right. I don't want to be doing this my whole life. I don't want to be working for somebody my whole life. I want to build generational wealth. Boxing is my platform. Not only that, boxing is my voice. Because I have a good following of people, and my community is not in a great standings, I use that voice to further improve my community.
Right.
To get my people together. And I say my people, I don't mean black, white. I mean my people as the people in my community. For us to all be better off. So I use boxing as a platform to launch me forward to do bigger and better things.
No, man, I love that. And well said. I know it's genuine and it comes from the heart, and I can definitely appreciate that. Just like I appreciate your nonprofit, man. Like I've heard it being put out there, and I apologize for not knowing more about it, but hey, here's that opportunity where I can learn more about it. So let's move Killeen, obviously referencing Killeen, Texas, and how you're a big supporter of that community. Talk a little bit about that. And, is that part of the motivation you have aside from your family and your competitive side to, reach bigger and better opportunities?
Yeah, so Let's Move Clean. It's a nonprofit organization that we established. What it was is I got to give you a little beginning of what happened. The community was crying out, right? The George Floyd incident happened. Community, everybody was, there was riots across America. Everybody was looking for justice to be had, but people were doing it in the wrong way. My city was doing the exact same thing. They were upset. They were hurting, and I just called out to them and said, "Hey, listen, we're gonna do a march. We're gonna do those things. We're gonna protest, but we're gonna do it the right way. We're not gonna burn our city down. We're not gonna trash our city. And if you respect me enough to do it, just be by my side and let's show people that we don't have to be destructive to get our voice across." Well, this event had over 600 people there. Not one thing was damaged. Not one person was arrested. And it was covered across our whole state. So that let me know that I had a following. With that same voice, I created opportunities for, unemployment. We're now doing a development to do housing for the homeless. So we are constantly looking for grants and constantly doing the things to help people further themselves. We just had our very first our annual Christmas party, to where we had the less fortunate kids, and we had over 1,000 toys to give out. So, yeah, it's panning out to be something that's big, and I want to keep it going, and even venture out to other states and other locations.
No, that's great. And that says a lot about you and your character, and also to follow through. What I tell people all the time, and I'm sure you experienced that, where you could be talking to somebody in passing or somebody you may know, you've known for a while, and they may have a great idea, but nothing comes from it. So for you to take that great idea and actually act upon it, that says a lot about you.
Right.
I've met some people, and I actually work for some people that are, very successful in business. And, what they tell me is, they say the difference between them and a lot of people is basically just doing it, just actually action, speak louder than words. And, that's definitely well said. And it applies to you, sir. So shout out to you on that. Speaking of well said, you're not scared to crack on somebody. Please don't crack on me, sir. But you also are a comedian too, which I think is unbelievable. To me, that says more than anything that you want all the smoke. So how did that come about,
So I don't. So quick story. I grew ill back a long time ago, and I survived it. And I live with the same mantra saying, I made it through the worst of times. What do I got to be upset about?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I make light of little things, and every little thing that I hear, every upset situation that someone goes through, troubling times, I try to find the comedy behind it. And people just make people laugh. And I just had a friend that said, "Man, you need to do stand up." I said, "You know what? I want to do stand up." So I was watching a couple of people do shows, reached out to a friend of mine, say, "Hey man, I want to get on stage." They said, "Okay, all right, cool. Well, we're gonna get you on stage." Next thing you know, I'm taking her to one of her shows, and she, "Hey, this is gonna be your first time on stage." So my very first time on stage was doing a live show.
Really?
Not an open mic, not a contest, was a live show. And it was like, I was a little bit terrified. But
I'm terrified for you just hearing the story.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, but one of the jokes I use when I go on stage is like, if you guys don't know, I'm a professional fighter. So if you plan on talking junk or, heckling me, I wouldn't do that. So that's literally one of my
great advice.
So
nah, definitely. So I know, it goes without saying that I don't know why people are obsessed with being hecklers, man. Even after saying that, do you get people that literally want the smoke? I mean,
no, I don't, because not to my own horn, I'm pretty funny. So I really don't get too much hecklers yet, because I know it's gonna come one day.
Yeah.
But it's just, to me, I like the competition. I think sitting on stage is competition, because you got to keep people laughing for having you on stage. So if I lose a laugh, meaning someone looking into the audience and I don't see someone laughing, gives me motivation to make better jokes next time I get on stage. So
wow, that's a great point. Like, where you're literally competing for, their laugh, like their acceptance, right? In a way. So you can see the immediate reaction, kind of like we're boxing, like if you have the right punch, you can see the immediate reaction from, the fighter you're fighting.
Absolutely.
That's
absolutely
crazy. All right. So, man, love that. And let's talk about something very important, because like we said, that's why you're here, brother, to learn about how amazing you are. But people are going to want to, when they hear this, either on the YouTube or on our podcast, different platforms available on Spotify, Apple, or iHeartRadio, or all your podcast platform options. So let's talk about how can they see you. So we have this card coming up. Like we said, it's going to be February 12th, and you are going to be a part of that card. It is Next Fight Up. Now, great flyer, by the way. It's going to be at Givens Recreation Center, 3811 East 12th Street, Austin, Texas. Doors open up at 5 p.m. First fight at 6 p.m. And our man looks like, I don't know whose idea. Are you the main event, sir? I mean, it looks like you got all the belts. You're in the middle of the flyer.
I think I am. I think I am going to be the main event for this
Man, that's what's up. That's how we know it's a good card. So, how exciting is that?
It's a man. Listen, as soon as the tickets went on sale, we've already sold about 6 or 7 tables, and then half the actual show. So again, my following, and I just want to put on the show for my people, man. I get asked all the time, Reshard, when you gonna fight? When you gonna fight?
Right.
And it's just more so. I'm at a loss for words, because I'm ready to go. Like, I'm ready to get back in the ring. I'm ready for my people to have the joy of seeing competition and just a show. Just me being able to put on the show.
No, definitely, man. I can hear in your voice you're definitely excited. And now, as far as like the fight, and coming back, fighting 154, you're feeling great. How many rounds is that fight going to be? Because that's another thing that's really important that I've learned. As far as watching fighters, like they say, like, well, the rounds are key as far as like the strategy and as far as getting their legs back.
Well, at first I was told it's going to be a 4-round fight, which I was kind of like, I don't want a 4-round fight, but 6 rounds for this fight. If it's 4, if they make it 4, then we'll do what we got to do. But 6 rounds. I want to get my feet wet. I don't want to get in there with a duck, because I want to actually move around, get some rounds in.
Right.
So I want to put on a show. That's more than anything. I want to put on a show. I don't think I've ever been into a boring fight.
That's great.
And I don't want to start being in a boring fight. But I also don't want to take punishment either. So, but
no, that's true. Especially like being active. That's the thing. You can dominate a fight and suffer like a cut. Like we've known a lot of fighters where that's happened, and they're on the shelf, and they're dying because they won, they did well, things open up, people want them to fight, but because of they can't get sanctioned to fight, they won't get cleared by the medicals. So I'm praying that doesn't happen. Obviously, I want the best for you and want you to win, but man, people don't realize, like, man, if there's any kind of like cut or injury, man, it won't get cleared. And then that's super frustrating. So, man.
Right.
So
that's kind of why I'm not picky about who I'm fighting, but styles make fights. Wild, crazy, nothing to lose guys. And it's like, yeah, you don't want that when you're coming back into the ring, and especially with going to be active. I want a tough fight this year. I want the tough fight this year. I want the complicated. I want the fights that no one think I'm going to take this year, which means I'm going to have to stay away from cuts.
Yeah, definitely.
Stay away from the guys who come in with their head down. I'm about being smart. About your approach back into the game. Again, with me also just getting back into the ring, I know ring rust is going to be something that I'm going to have to overcome, and I'm expecting it, and I'm mentally preparing myself for it. So, yeah, it's imperative that you do go into it with the understanding that something can happen, but you do your best to avoid it. But it is a fight, so you can't say what's going to happen during the fight.
No, definitely. And that's a great point that you brought up as far as ring rust. So, like, there's a lot of terms us fans kind of throw out there. We're not fully understanding it. So, from my perspective, ring rust is basically your rhythm is off, right?
Yeah.
So you're not exactly where you want to be. You're being effective. You're controlling the fight. You're having, success within the ring. But as far as like your sharpness, your jab is not as crisp. Your combinations aren't in, the effective as you would like. You're just basically not yourself. So You're saying that, is there any way, and I've heard hell no, but I'd like to hear perspective, Is there any way to reduce that completely with sparring and training? It has to be in the ring. It has to be in
the ring, because you can't simulate the crowd noise. You can't simulate the crowd yelling back and forth while you're inside of the ring during training camp. Right. And that does sometimes add to a fight or take away from a fight. So when you got people yelling out, get him, hit him, move, all that stuff, you can't simulate that things inside of the gym. So you just got to get in the ring and do it.
No, that's true. But as far as sparring, though, you are getting some good work in. How's that been going?
Well, sparring, we are stepping up our sparring starting next week. We've just been doing a little bit moving around for right now. But sparring, my coach does the best. He has one of the I want to say the best sparring sparring routine I've witnessed from every days where I don't know if we're going to be sparring or not. I walk into the gym, hey, get ready to spar. So it's spontaneous. Wow. Not for mental, it takes you off mentally and just has you getting ready to go. So you got to get your mind wrapped around it like right now. And then, I'm pretty sure everybody's heard of the Shark Tank. We got the Shark Tank to where I'm in the middle of the ring and I got a fighter standing on each corner. For 1 minute, I may spar this guy, and the next minute, I got to spar another guy. Next minute, I got to spar another guy. So we do different things to get geared up. Damn, one day we might do 4-minute rounds. One day we might do 5-minute rounds.
Whoa, man! Coach Ravallo ain't playing no games, man. I see. Man. Dang. All right. Yeah. So, man, this has been awesome, champ. And definitely, again, reminder for those that February 2nd, Austin, Texas, that's the place that you want to be. Follow this man on social media. Where is your social media so they can follow you and, know about these great things you're going to be doing?
Got you. So my Instagram is 2 Quick Hicks. That is TOO Quick Hicks. You can also follow me at Reshard Von Hicks on Facebook and as well on my Twitter, which is 2 Quick Hicks as well.
Oh, man. Awesome, champ. Also, on the comments on this real quick. Hey, man, I heard that the Eagles are going to beat down Buccaneers. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, no, he didn't say that. No, he didn't say that. We might have to do another interview after this one, after that game, and we'll talk about how you feel after that.
No, I was just playing. I am not an Eagles fan. I just wanted the reaction, so thank you for that, sir. Thank you. So, no, man, great stuff. And honestly, champ, it was truly an honor, and we can't wait to talk to you again soon after you had several fights and success and you're still that great guy, and talk even more about your Let's Move Colleen, because I believe that is an awesome program. And I believe this is only beginning. You're like, yes, I truly love when people are honest and genuine and have conviction to want to do bigger and better. And then they actually do it, man. So salute to you. You're the man. And we are out of here. And a quick shout out to the 8CP network doing great things. Great set of shows, great programming, and they are all about the real boxing talk. So definitely follow them. And
it's Maestro A, it's Kenny T. I'm back in New York City after a weekend in Las Vegas.
We got Power Punchers episode 2, episode dos. Hit that like button as you come in.
It's your boy Dave from the 408 coming to you all the way from my podcast studio in San Jose, Califas. You know what time it is. It's time for the shoe shine.
Everyone, welcome to Al Chile. We got my partners in crime, Run PMC and Nopal with us and visiting us for the first time. Al Chile means keeping it
style real. Boxing. Thanks to those joining me live. Those that be joining me here on Archive. I'll be joined by the new co-host of ATP, Nancy, from the Boxing Republic.
It's my birthday, and then obviously, Red says to me, these are my girls. You have to make sure you do the interview for them. I said, you know what? Even though it's my birthday, we'll do it. No problem.
Oh, you're amazing.
So thank you. Thank you so much.
The All-Star panel, the round table, number 58. Really good weekend.
Seguimos en vivo. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Como siempre, Mari Marrero.
Sean El Gringo Hicks.
Hopper.
Hey.
Oh, always breaking it down like it is, like it should.
Welcome to the Ringside Reporters Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we're going to talk about it right here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib.
Thanks again, champ. We out.